There is a power working behind the scenes of your life, orchestrating events, shifting circumstances, and aligning everything in perfect order, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Even when the road appears blocked, understand that the divine hand is at work. You may not see it, but it is moving. You may not feel it, but it is unfolding. The delays, the waiting, the moments of uncertainty, they are not signs of abandonment. They are part of the preparation for something greater. You must trust in the unseen, for that is where the true work of creation takes place. The walls that stand before you, the obstacles that seem immovable, they are illusions compared to the power within you. When the right time comes, they will crumble effortlessly. When the moment is right, a way will be made where there seemed to be no. That which appeared impossible will become your reality, and you will stand in awe at how perfectly everything aligns. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It is not about forcing things to happen, but about knowing deep within that they already have. You must speak as if it is done. Think as if it is done. Walk as if it is done. There is no begging, no pleading, only certainty, for when you understand the nature of the divine, you realize that there has never been a moment when you were not being guided, not being provided for, not being loved. Your circumstances do not define the outcome. Your belief do not be shaken by appearances, for they are temporary. What is eternal is the promise that has been placed upon your life. When you hold on to truth, when you refuse to be swayed by doubt, you align yourself with the inevitable fulfillment of that promise, and then, suddenly, effortlessly, the doors open, the way appears, the light shines through. All that is required of you is to remain steadfast, do not waver, do not let fear dictate your reality. Let your heart be filled with the knowing that God is moving and the breakthrough you seek is already making its way to you. It will not delay, it will not be hindered. It is coming. It is done. There is a divine order to all things, an unseen rhythm that governs the universe. Though the mind seeks evidence, though the eyes long to witness change, faith moves beyond the realm of sight. It is in the quiet surrender, in the unwavering conviction, that the manifestation unfolds. When you walk with the certainty that God is at work, you no longer question when or how, because you already know that the way has been prepared before you even ask. In moments of despair, when the weight of your burdens feels unbearable, remember this: the answer is already on its way. The very thing you are longing for, the very change you seek, is not distant. It is near, waiting for you to align with its presence. God does not delay. There is no hesitation in divine timing. The only delay exists in the mind that wavers, in the heart that doubts, in the hands that hesitate to receive what has already been given. When you find yourself in the middle of the storm, when everything around you seems to be falling apart, do not mistake it for chaos. It is transformation. The old must dissolve to make way for the new. The limitations that once held you captive are being stripped away, not to leave you empty, but to prepare you for something greater. The discomfort you feel is not a sign of failure. It is the shaking of all that is no longer meant to be in your life. And when the shaking ends, what remains will be. The foundation of your new reality. Hold your vision. Keep your faith unwavering. Even when the night seems endless, even when there is no visible sign of change, do not let your heart be troubled. God is moving, shifting the pieces, aligning the perfect sequence of events that will bring you exactly where you are meant to be. What seems like delay is merely preparation. If you were to receive your blessing too soon, it would not be fully formed. If the door were to open before its time, you would not be ready to walk through it. Trust in divine timing, for it is never late, never early, but always perfect. The mind often clings to the how, to the need for logical steps, for visible proof, for reassurance. But faith is not built on proof. Faith is built on the knowing that what has been promised will surely come to pass. When you truly understand this, you let go of the need to control, to manipulate circumstances, to chase after things that are already meant for you. You enter a state of stillness, of trust, of expectancy, and in that space the impossible becomes possible. Do not fear when everything seems uncertain. Do not be discouraged when doors close. The divine does not make mistakes. Every redirection, every delay, every moment of stillness is part of a larger design. You are being led even when it seems like you are standing still. The hands that form the universe, that set the stars in motion, that breathe life into all things, those same hands are guiding you, holding you, preparing the way for you. The power that created all things resides within you. It is not separate from you. It is not distant. It is here now, waiting for you to recognize it, to trust in it, to allow it to work through you. The moment you shift your perspective, the moment you stop looking outward for answers and start looking within, everything begins to change. Your reality begins to shift. The walls that once stood before you begin to crumble. The opportunities you once chased after begin to seek you. The things you once longed for begin to appear effortlessly. You must speak as if it is already done. You must think, act, and live in the vibration of certainty. The words you speak, the thoughts you entertain, the emotions you allow into your heart, these are the seeds of your reality. When you speak of lack, you create lack. When you speak of struggle, you prolong the struggle. But when you speak of abundance, when you declare victory, when you affirm that the way has already been made, you step into alignment with that truth. God does not withhold. There is no reluctance in divine giving. Every blessing, every breakthrough, every miracle is already available to you. But you must be willing to receive. You must let go of doubt, release fear, and make room in your heart for what is already yours. When you stop questioning whether it will happen and start living as if it already has, you unlock the doors that once seemed closed. You remove the barriers that were never placed there. God, but only by your own disbelief. There is a moment when everything shifts, a moment when what seemed impossible becomes undeniable, a moment when what you once struggled for appears before you effortlessly. That moment is not in the future. It is now. The only thing that stands between you and the fulfillment of your desire is your willingness to believe, not a hope, not to wish, but to know with every fiber of your being that it is already done. You do not need to see the full picture. To trust the process, you do not need to understand how it will unfold to walk in faith. Your only task is to align yourself with the truth that God is moving on your behalf, to wake up each day with gratitude, knowing that what you have asked for is already making its way to you. To let go of struggle, to release resistance, to rest in the certainty that all things are working together for your good. There is a divine promise over your life and nothing can cancel it. No circumstance, no setback, no delay can change what has already been written. When you hold on to this truth, when you refuse to be shaken, you step into a life of miracles. A life where doors open effortlessly, where opportunities find you, where blessings flow freely. This is not wishful thinking. It is a law, the law that governs all creation, the law that moves mountains, the law that brings the unseen into the thought is making a way for you even now. Even in this moment, things are shifting, the pieces are falling into place. What you thought was lost is being restored. What you thought was over is only just beginning. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is already here. You need only to open your heart and receive. There is a divine force moving through all things, shaping reality, orchestrating every event with precision. It does not operate according to human time, nor does it conform to human logic. It moves in its own perfect rhythm, unseen but undeniable. Even when you feel abandoned, even when the waiting seems endless, the process is unfolding exactly as it should. What appears as stillness is not inactivity. What seems like delay is not denial. It is preparation, alignment, and the careful weaving of circumstances that will bring you into the fulfillment of what has already been promised. You must come to understand that faith is not in what you see, but in what you know to be true. It is not in waiting for proof, but in walking in the certainty that the unseen is just as real, if not more so, than what is visible. The most powerful shifts happen long before they are recognized in the physical world. They take root in the unseen, in the formless, in the depths of consciousness, where all things begin the moment you accept this. You will no longer wait anxiously for change to appear. You will walk in the assurance that it is already done. There is no obstacle that can stand against divine will. No force, no delay, no seeming setback, and alter the course that has been set for you. When you align with this truth, you stop resisting. You stop questioning whether it will happen, and you start living as if it already has. This is the key to receiving, to step into the feeling of fulfillment before the manifestation arrives, to know deep within your being that what is meant for you is already yours. The mind wants to doubt, to analyze, to demand evidence. But faith operates outside of reason. It does not need logic to function. It only needs belief. If every moment you spend in worry is a moment you are pushing your blessing away, every thought of lack, every complaint, every doubt sends a signal that you do not truly believe in the promise. And yet, the moment you shift, the moment you replace doubt with certainty, things begin to change. Doors begin to open effortlessly. People, opportunities, and resources begin to find you. Drawn to the vibration of your unwavering faith, this is not coincidence, it is. The same law that governs the rising of the sun, the movement of the stars, the breath in your lungs, you must begin to see beyond appearances. What looks like an ending is often a new beginning. What feels like loss is often a setup for something greater. God does not take without the intention to give something far beyond what you could imagine. There are moments when everything must be stripped away so that you can be prepared for what is coming. The discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is transformation. It is the shedding of what no longer serves you so that you may step into what has always been meant for you. Do not despair when things do not unfold as expected. The human mind is limited, unable to comprehend the vastness of divine design. What you see as rejection may be redirection. What you see as delay. If you only knew what was being prepared for you, you would not spend another second in doubt. You would walk with confidence, with gratitude, with an unshakable knowing that all is unfolding in divine perfection. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Every prayer has been heard. Every silent tear has been seen. There is nothing you've gone through that is unnoticed by the divine, the struggles, the disappointments, the moments of deep uncertainty. They are all part of the process. They are not meant to break you, but to refine you, to mud you, to prepare you for what is coming. And what is coming is far greater than you can imagine. Your role in this process is not to force, not to chase, not to beg for what is already yours. Your role is to align, to trust, to step into the frequency of certainty. When you shift your focus from fear to faith, you begin to see evidence of divine movement everywhere. Small signs, unexpected blessings, moments of clarity, they are all reminders that you are being guided. The way is being made. The provision is already in place. Stop looking at the size of the obstacle and start looking at the size of the power within you. Stop speaking of lack of limitation of struggle. Speak as if the victory is already won. Walk as if the doors are already open. Carry yourself as if the promise has already been fulfilled. This is the mindset that moves mountains. This is the faith that brings miracles into reality. Nothing in your past can disqualify you from what is meant for you. No mistake, no failure, no missed opportunity can cancel the plan that has been written for your life. The divine does not operate in human judgment. It does not keep a record of wrongs. It only sees your potential, your purpose, your destiny. The only thing standing between you and your blessing is your willingness to believe that you are worthy of it. Let go of the need to understand every step. Let go of the urge to control the process. You do not need to see how it will happen. You only need to know that it will. The timing is perfect. The unfolding is flawless. What is meant for you cannot miss you. And when the moment comes, when everything aligns, when the doors open in a way that only the divine could orchestrate, you will look back and see that it was never about the waiting. It was about the becoming. You are being shaped, strengthened, prepared. Every challenge, every delay, every test has been refining you for this moment. The person you are becoming is the person who will receive what is coming. The faith you are developing is the foundation upon which your blessing will rest. Nothing is wasted. Every experience, every lesson, every moment of struggle has been necessary to bring you to where you are now. Open your heart, release the weight of doubt, step into the knowing that everything is unfolding in divine perfection. The way is being made, the breakthrough is already here. The only thing left to do is receive. Do not let the illusion of delay make you question the certainty of what is already done. There is a divine intelligence moving on your behalf, orchestrating every event in your favor, positioning you exactly where you need to be. Even now, forces unseen are aligning circumstances, preparing. People shifting realities to ensure that what belongs to you reaches you in perfect timing. The mind may question, the heart may grow weary, but the spirit knows. It knows that every delay is divine strategy. Every challenge is divine preparation. Every test is building the faith required to sustain what is coming. When doubt creeps in, silence it with truths. When fear rises, replace it with trust. You were never meant to carry the weight of worry. You were never meant to figure out the details of how and when. Your role is to trust. To believe, to hold steadfast in the certainty that God is making a way even when you see no way. Faith is not about seeing the path clearly. It is about taking the next step, even in darkness, knowing that the ground will meet you. It is about trusting that the doors will open as you walk not before. Many give up too soon. They allow the voice of fear to drown out the whispers of faith. They retreat just before the breakthrough. They question just before the miracle. Do not be one of them. Stand firm in the knowing that your life is unfolding according to a divine script. No force on earth can alter what is being written for you. No opposition can cancel what has been declared in the heavens. You are moving toward fulfillment, not by your own effort, but by divine decree. God's timing is not yours. The moment you surrender to this truth, you release yourself from the torment of impatience. You stop looking at clocks and calendars. You stop measuring progress with human eyes. Instead, you step into divine, knowing that nothing is delayed, nothing is lost, nothing is beyond redemption. Even what seemed to have been taken from you will be restored in a way that only divine hands could orchestrate. The blessings prepared for you are not diminishing. They are increasing, multiplying, becoming even greater than you imagined. You may feel as if you have been walking through a desert waiting for rain, searching for signs. But what if the dryness is not a sign of lack, but a test of trust? What if the waiting is not punishment, but preparation? What if the very thing you are longing for is being perfected, so that when it arrives it is not just good, but divine? God does not give halfway. He does not deliver promises in incomplete form. When He moves completely, abundantly, exceedingly beyond what you could ever ask or think. That is why you must be careful with your words, your thoughts, your expectations. Do not declare lack when abundance is being formed. Do not speak doubt. When faith is required, your words shape your reality, your beliefs shape your outcome. Speak as if the way is already made. Walk as if the promise is already fulfilled. Carry yourself as if the victory is already won. This is not pretending. It is positioning. This is not imagination. It is alignment. The moment you align with the truth of your divine destiny, everything around you begins to shift. Stop looking to people for confirmation. Stop waiting for the world to validate what has already been declared over your life. They cannot see what you see. They do not know what you know. Your vision is yours alone. The dream placed within you was not given to them. It was given to you. That is why they made out. That is why they may not understand. But you do not need their understanding. You do not need their approval. You only need to walk in faith, knowing that what is unseen is just as real as what is seen. The divine does not need permission to bless you. It does not require the agreement of others to move on your behalf. When the time comes, it will happen. Suddenly it will appear as if from nowhere, though in truth it has been forming all along. The shift will be undeniable. The doors will swing open effortlessly. The very things that once seemed impossible will become reality in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. And when it happens, you will know it was never by your striving, never by your strength, but by divine will. That is why you must not shrink. Do not lower your expectations. Do not settle for less than what has been placed in your. What you desire is not too big. What you dream of is not impossible. It has already been written. It has already been prepared. You do not need to chase it. You only need to become the version of yourself who is ready to receive it. The transformation is not in the outside world. It is within you. The moment you shift, the moment you truly believe, the moment you are lying, everything around you will respond. There is no force stronger than faith. There is no power greater than divine decree. The moment you release fear, release doubt, release hesitation, you make space for miracles. You make space for breakthroughs. You make space for the fulfillment of every promise. The divine is not limited by circumstances. It is not restricted by time. It is not bound by human logic. It moves according to a higher law, a law that cannot be broken, a law that ensures that what is meant for you will reach you no matter what. So stand firm, walk boldly, speak with certainty, live in gratitude. Not for what you hope will come, but for what you know is already done. The way is being made. The breakthrough is already. Here the only thing left to do is receive. There comes a time in every person's life when it feels like all hope is lost. When the road ahead is filled with obstacles and uncertainty, you may be standing at a crossroad, unsure of which path to take. Perhaps you have been working tirelessly doing everything right, but the fruits of your labor seem to be nowhere in sight. You may feel weary, tired, and perhaps even forgotten, but I want to tell you today that God is never far from you. In fact, He is closer than you think, and He's about to show up in a way that will change everything. You see, God's timing is perfect. It's not always in alignment with our own timing, but it is always exactly when it needs to. You may be struggling to see the end of your trials, But the truth is that God works behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail of your life. Even when you cannot see Him, He is there quietly working, preparing the way, making sure that everything will unfold just as it should. It is easy to doubt when things aren't going as we hoped. We look at the circumstances, we listen to the voices of doubt, and we question whether we will ever make it through. But I want to remind you of this. God will make a way for you even when there seems to be no way. He is the creator of all things, the one who spoke the world into existence. There is nothing that is too difficult for. He can move mountains, He can part seas, He can open doors that no man can shut, and He is about to do that for you. You may not see it yet, but God is working on your behalf. He is aligning things in your life, preparing the right people, opening the right doors and positioning you for the breakthrough you've been waiting for. When God moves, it's always in a way that surpasses our understanding. You may not have the full picture right now, but rest assured that God is piercing it all together in His perfect time. Your breakthrough is coming. Your way is being made. What you need to do in this moment is trust. Trust that God sees your struggles, He hears your cries, and He knows exactly what you need. Even in the silence, God is working even when you feel like nothing is changing. Trust that He is making a way for you. You are not alone in this journey. Every step you take, every prayer you utter, God is walking with you, guiding you, and preparing the path before you. It's important to remember that God doesn't need our help to make a way. Our part is to stay faithful, to trust in His ability to move mountains in our favor, to remain patient as we wait for His perfect timing. Don't let doubt steal your peace. Don't let fear cloud your vision. God is always working in the background, and He will show up for you. And when He does, you will know that it was only by His hand that you were able to overcome. So if you are facing challenges today, take heart. Know that God is about to reveal Himself in a mighty way in your life. He is making a way for you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. When He moves, you will see that everything was leading to this moment. Your breakthrough will not only meet your needs, but it will exceed your expectations. Hold on, trust, and know that the way is being made for you. Even now, keep your faith strong, for the time of your miracle is near. The road may seem dark and the weight of the world may be pressing down on your shoulders, but even in the midst of the storm, even when everything seems uncertain, there is a truth that you must hold on to. God is working, and He is preparing to make a way for you. Often we get caught up in the struggles, in the disappointments, in the waiting, but I want to tell you today that the waiting is never. Lord is not idle during this time. He is preparing something far greater than you can imagine in our limited human understanding. We tend to focus on what we can see in front of us. We look at the circumstances, we measure the distance from where we are to where we want to be, and we often come to the conclusion that it is simply impossible. We wonder, how can things change? How can the breakthrough happen? How will my circumstances shift in my? The answer is simple. God, the creator of the universe, is working for your good. His power is limitless and His plans are far beyond our understanding. What may seem impossible to you is nothing for Him. The path you see is blocked. The doors you believe are closed. He can open. When He makes a way, no one can stand in His way. To the moment in Scripture when God moved in seemingly impossible situations, when Moses stood at the edge of the Red Sea with the Egyptian army closing in behind him, what did he see? He saw nothing but water in front of him, and enemies closing in from behind. In the natural, there was no way forward, but God told Moses to lift his stuff, and in that moment the sea parted. What seemed impossible was made possible. When God makes a way for you, He does not operate within the limits of what we can see or understand. He is not bound by what you think is possible. Just as He made a way for Moses, He is making a way for you. There is no situation too big, no obstacle too insurmountable, no problem too great for God to overcome. You may look at your life and see no clear path forward, but know this: God sees a way when there is none. He is arranging things in the unseen realm, lining up circumstances, preparing the hearts of the people who need to be in your life, and opening doors at just the right time. Even when you cannot see the evidence of it, trust that He is working, and in His time, everything will fall into place. Trust is key here. When the storm rages and when the path is unclear, trust in God's ability to make a way. You do not have to have all the answers, and you do not need to know every step ahead. What you need to do is trust that God, who knows the end from the beginning, is already ahead of you, preparing your future. There is peace in knowing that He is the one who goes before you, that He is the one who will make a way when you cannot see one. In those moments of doubt, remind yourself of the promises God has spoken over your life. He promises that He will never leave you nor forsake you. He promises that He will make all things work together for your good. He promises that if you trust in Him with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, He will direct your path. Thus His word is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. When you trust in Him, you are not walking in the darkness. He is guiding you, and He will lead you to the right place at the right time as you wait, as you trust. Remember that God's ways are not our ways. The way He works may not make sense to us in the moment, but He is always faithful to His promises. Sometimes He may take you down a path you didn't expect. Sometimes He may close a door you thought was the right one. But rest assured that He is only guiding you toward the door that is meant for you. He is only protecting you from things you may not yet understand. He sees the bigger picture, and He is leading you exactly where you need to go. When you are at the brink of giving up, when you are tempted to believe that it is all in vain, that nothing will ever change. Remember this: God is never early and He is never late. He is always on time. He is never in a hurry, but He is always right on schedule. Even if the process feels long and the wait feels endless, know that God is working behind the scenes. He is preparing the way even in the moment when you cannot see any movement. Your breakthrough is coming, even if it's not coming in the way you thought it would. There is power and persistence. There is power in holding on when the circumstances try to tell you to let go. It is in the waiting that your faith grows. It is in the waiting that your trust in God deepens. Every moment you spend waiting on Him is a moment He is refining your heart, preparing you for what is to come. He is not wasting your time. He is preparing you for a future that is greater than anything you could have ever imagined. Sometimes the most difficult part is simply trusting when the way ahead seems unclear, but God's silence is not His absence. Even when you don't hear Him, He is still working. Even when you feel abandoned, He is still with you. The fact that you cannot see the answer doesn't mean it isn't on its way. It is easy to get discouraged when you feel like God is silent or distant. But the truth is that He is closer than ever, and He is about to reveal His plan in ways that will leave you in awe. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. I want you to understand that God's provision isn't always in the form we expect. He doesn't always show up in the way we want Him to, but He will show up, and He will make a way in a way that will glorify His name and benefit you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. And trust that what is about to unfold will be exactly what you need. He knows your heart. He knows the desires of your soul, and He will provide what is best for you. God is not a man that He should lie, nor the Son of Man that He should repent. If He said He will make a way for you, He will. If He said He would provide for you, He will. If He said He would guide you, He will. You can count on it. Your part is to stay faithful, keep your trust in Him, and to know that the way will open at the right time. So when you feel like you can't go on, when you feel like your circumstances are hopeless, I want you to remember this: God is working on your behalf even when you cannot see it. He is preparing a way for you, and it will be in His time and in His perfect way. Trust in that trust that He has already gone before you and is making a way where there seems to be no way. Hold on to hope, for your miracle is coming. It is just around the corner. Owner, when life feels overwhelming, when everything seems impossible, and the weight of the world presses down on you, it is easy to feel like there is no way forward. Perhaps you have prayed, hoped, and tried your best, yet the breakthrough has not come. The path ahead may seem shrouded in darkness, and doubt may begin to cloud your mind. But even in the darkest moments, when it feels like all is lost, it is important to remember this one. Truth God is working even when you can't see it, and He is about to make a way for you. God has never been bound by what you can see. His power is not limited by your circumstances. His wisdom does not adhere to the limitations of human understanding. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and everything that exists is subject to His authority. When He says He will make a way, He is not speaking from a place of uncertainty. He is speaking with absolute power and authority. No matter how impossible your situation seems, know this: God is about to show up for you in a way you never expected. What we often fail to see in our moments of struggle is that God's plan is far bigger than what we can understand when we are in the middle of the storm. It is hard to see beyond the clouds, but even in the midst of the storm, God is shaping, molding, and preparing things for our good. He does not operate on our timeline, but He is always on time. The waiting may be long and the process may be painful, but every moment of waiting is preparation. God is preparing you, strengthening you, and aligning things in the unseen realms to bring you exactly what you need exactly when you need it. It is easy to become disheartened when we look at our circumstances and think that nothing is changing. We begin to doubt if God is really listening to our prayers. We start to wonder if we are forgotten. But let me tell you, this God is never late. His timing is always perfect. You may not see the path ahead, but that doesn't mean it's not being prepared for you. You may not know how or when your breakthrough will come, but you can trust that God is already making a way. What you cannot see in the natural is already being set in motion in the spiritual. God is not a God of confusion. He is a God of order, of purpose, and a perfect timing. Just as He spoke the world into existence and set the stars in the sky, He is orchestrating every detail of your life. The very circumstances you find yourself in today are part of a much larger picture. You may not understand it now, but everything is leading up to something greater. Every struggle you face is part of the process, and every delay is an opportunity for God to position you exactly where you need to be. The way may not seem clear to you, but God is already preparing the path. He is opening doors you can't yet see and aligning circumstances in ways that will surprise you. When we talk about God making a way, it's not just about opening doors. It's about removing obstacles that seem insurmountable. It's about transforming impossible situations into opportunities. Think about how He parted the Red Sea for the Israelites. On one side, they were being pursued by their enemies. On the other side, there was no escape, just water deep and vast. But when God spoke, the sea parted, creating a way where there seemed to be none. The Israelites walked through on dry land, with walls of water standing on either side. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. What looks like a dead end, what looks impossible, is nothing in the hands of the one who created the world. Just as God parted the Red Sea, He will make a way for you. He will part the waters in your life, and He will guide you to dry land. The same God who calms the storm and commands the wind will command your circumstances, even when it feels like you are surrounded by problems and challenges. Trust that God is working in ways you cannot see. Maybe blocked now, but it won't stay forever. God's plan is always in motion, even when you can't perceive it in the waiting. Remember that you are not alone. You are not walking this journey by yourself. God is with you every step of the way. Even when you don't see His hand moving, it is still working behind the scenes. The delay is not a sign of abandonment. It is part of the divine process. God's delays are not denials. Just because things are not happening on time doesn't mean they won't happen at all. In fact, the more you trust, the more you will see that God's timing is always perfect. He knows exactly when the right doors will open. He knows exactly when you will need the breakthrough. He knows exactly what is needed to get you to the place you are destined for. What you must remember is that God doesn't operate by human logic. He doesn't need your permission, your understanding, or your timing to move. Move when He decides to show up. He will do it in a way that surpasses your expectations. The miracle you're waiting for might not come the way you think it should, but it will come, and it will be exactly what you need in times of uncertainty. It's important to keep your focus on God's promises. What has He promised you? Has He promised you peace? He will give it. Has He promised you provision? It's already on the way. Has He promised you protection? He is watching over you right now. No matter what the world may tell you, God's word is the truth. His promises never failed when He says He will make a way. He will when He says He will provide for you. He will when He says He will heal you. He will. But the key is trust. Trust that He knows what is best for you. Trust that He is working in ways that you cannot yet understand. Trust that the way He is making for you is exactly the way you need to go the moment you let go of the fear. The anxiety and the doubt is the moment. You are moment. You allow room for God to work. Trust is the currency of the kingdom of God. Without faith, it is impossible to please Him. With faith, all things are possible. When you trust God, you open the door for Him to move in your life. In your moments of doubt, remember that God has always made a way for His people time and time again. Throughout Scripture, God has shown up for those who trusted in Him. He showed up for Noah when He told him to build an ark in the middle of a dry land with no rain inside. He showed up for Abraham when he told him to leave his country and his family and go to a land he would show him. He showed up for Daniel when he was thrown into the lion's den, and he showed up for Paul when he was imprisoned. God has never failed those who trust in him, and he will not fail you either. It is in the waiting that your faith grows. It is in the waiting that you are refined, strengthened, and prepared for what is to come. God does not waste time, and he does not waste anything in your life. Every trial, every waiting period, every challenge is shaping you, preparing you and positioning you for the moment when he will make a way. It is in the waiting that he does his greatest work. Trust that even when you don't see the progress he is moving, even when you feel stuck, he is positioning you for the breakthrough. So whatever it is that you are facing today, whatever challenge or obstacle seems insurmountable, know that God is about to make a way. The breakthrough is on its way. The doors are about to open, the seas are about to part, and the way will be cleared. Trust in his timing, trust in his plan, and know that your God is making a way for you right now. Hold on to hope, for the way is coming. In conclusion, no matter how difficult the path may seem, and no matter how long the wait feels, remember that God's timing is always perfect. When he says he will make a way, the challenges and obstacles you face today are not the end of your story. They are part of the process of preparing you for the breakthrough that is just ahead. Trust in God's plan. Trust in his promises, and trust in his ability to transform any situation. He is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see it, and he will show up for you in ways beyond your imagination. Keep your faith strong. Keep your heart open. Know that the wait is already being. Whatever you are facing, know that God will make a way for you very soon. You are the operant power in your world. You and you alone are the architect of your life experiences. The world you see around you, with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and challenges, is but an outward reflection of your inner state of consciousness. It is a mirror faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and imaginal acts. Now you might ask, but Wayne, how can this be? Surely the world exists independently of my thoughts and feelings. To this I say, the world as you perceive it exists nowhere but in your consciousness. Your senses may tell you otherwise, may insist on the solidity and unchangeable nature of your circumstances, but I tell you this is an illusion, a shadow cast by the light of your own imagination. Consider for a moment, when you dream at night, do you not experience a world that feels every bit as real as your waking life? Do you not interact with people, places, and situations that seem to exist independently of your will? And yet, upon waking, you recognize that entire world was created within your own mind. So too is it with what you call your waking reality. The great secret then is this: your imagination is the very workshop in which you forge your life experiences. Every event, every circumstance, every person in your life is there because you have imagined them into being, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is the true meaning of the biblical phrase, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." But let us delve deeper into this truth. When we speak of focusing on yourself and your dreams, we are not talking about mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. No, we are speaking of a far more potent and transformative practice, the art of living from the end. To live from the end means to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It means to enter in your imagination into the state of consciousness you would occupy if your desire were already a present fact. This is not about visualizing a future event, but about experiencing here and now the reality of your fulfilled desire. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The common approach would be to focus on the process of acquiring wealth, working harder, saving more, investing wisely. But this approach keeps you rooted in the consciousness of lack, of not yet having what you desire. Instead, I urge you to ask yourself, how would I feel if I motioned financially abundant? What would my inner conversations be like? How would I carry myself? What thoughts would occupy my mind throughout the day? Then, having identified these feelings and states of mind, your task is to assume them now low, in your present reality. You see, my dear friends, the secret is not to think about your desire, but to think from the state of its fulfillment. This is the true meaning of prayer. Not beseeching an external deity for favors, but aligning your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, this sounds like self-deception. How can I feel wealthy when my bank account tells me otherwise? To this I say, your senses show you only the effects, never the causes of your reality. By persisting in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are operating on the causal level of existence, and the outer world must, by law, reorganize itself to match your new inner state. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you are. And what you are, you create. This is the true meaning of the biblical injunction to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. By renewing your mind, that is, by consistently assuming the state of consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you transform your entire world. But let us be clear, this is not about escaping reality or denying your present circumstances. It is about understanding the true nature of reality as a malleable, responsive substance that conforms to your dominant mental states. It is about recognizing your power as a creative being and wielding that power consciously and deliberately. Now, you might ask, how do I begin this practice of living from the end? How do I focus on myself and my dreams in this way? The answer lies in the use of your imagination, that divine gift that sets you apart as a creative being in this universe. Each night, as you lay your head upon your pillow, I want you to enter a state of relaxation. Let the cares and concerns of your day fall away. Then, with your inner eye, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Engage all your senses in this imaginal act. If your desire is for a loving relationship, feel the warmth of your beloved's embrace. Hear their voice whispering words of affection. Smell their familiar scent. Make the scene as real and as natural as any memory of an actual event. If your dream is a professional success, see yourself in your ideal work environment. Feel the satisfaction of a job well done. Hear the congratulations of your colleagues. Experience the pride and fulfillment of living your purpose. Whatever your desire may be, construct a scene that implies its fulfillment. Then enter into that scene. Do not watch it as a spectator, but participate in it fully. Be there in your imagination, experiencing the joy and satisfaction of your wish fulfilled. As you fall asleep, carry this feeling with you. Let it be the last thing in your consciousness as you drift off to slumber. For in sleep, when your conscious mind is at rest, these impressions sink deep into your subconscious, the fertile soil from which all your future experiences will grow. But do not limit this practice to your nighttime reveries. Throughout your day, whenever you are in a quiet moment, return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let it color your mood, influence your posture, inform your inner conversations. Remember, my friends, your inner conversations are incredibly powerful. They are the backdrop against which your life unfolds. Most people carry on these inner dialogues unconsciously, rehashing past hurts or worrying about future problems. But you, armed with this knowledge, can consciously direct your inner talking to align with your desires. If you desire health, do not engage in inner conversations about illness or weakness. Instead, hear yourself saying, I am vibrantly healthy and full of energy. If you seek financial abundance, let your inner bondage declare, I am abundantly provided for in every way. These inner conversations, persistently maintained, will transform your world. For whatever you consent to in your mind, whatever you feel to be true, must outpicture itself in your reality. This is the law of your being, as unalterable as any law of physics. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what about action? Surely we must do something in the outer world to realize our dreams. To this, I say, inspired action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, When you fully embody the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally and effortlessly taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. This is the meaning of biblical phrase, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure and it will not be late. Your only task is to hold fast to the vision, to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The how, the when, and the where of its manifestation are not your concern. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire, guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. Let me share with you a personal experience to illustrate this principle. Many years ago, when I first arrived in New York City, I had the burning desire to speak at town hall. Now, at that time, I was unknown, with no connections and no apparent means of realizing this dream. But instead of focusing on these seeming obstacles, I chose to live from the end. Each night, as I fell asleep, I would imagine myself standing on the stage at town hall. I felt the solid wood beneath my feet. I saw the sea of faces before me, heard the rustle of the audience, felt the satisfaction of sharing my message to eager listeners. I lived in this state, feeling it to be true, despite all evidence to the contrary in my waking hours. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Within a matter of weeks, through a series of events that seemed entirely accidental, I found myself invited to speak at town hall. The very scene one had enacted in my imagination came to pass in the outer world, down to the smallest detail. This, my dear friends, is the power that lies within you. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now, let us address a common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry that by focusing on themselves and their own desires, they are being selfish or neglecting their duties to others. Nothing could be further from the truth. You see, my friends, you cannot give what you do not have. By focusing on your own growth, your own dreams, your own expansion, you are increasing your capacity to be of service to others. As you transform your own consciousness, you elevate the consciousness of all those around you. Remember the words of the Master. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom of God is not a place in space or time, but a state of consciousness. It is the state of knowing yourself to be one with the creative power of the universe. When you seek this state first, when you prioritize the alignment of your consciousness with your desires, everything else falls naturally into place. Moreover, as you begin to experience the fruits of this practice in your own life, you become a living testament to the power of imagination. Your very being becomes an inspiration to others, showing them what is possible when one takes control of their inner world. But let me caution you, this work requires persistence and faith. You may not see immediate results in your outer world. The seed you plant in your imagination needs time to germinate and grow. During this period, you may face doubts, both from within yourself and from others. This is where the real test of your faith comes in. Can you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled even when your senses deny it? Can you remain loyal to your vision even when the outer world seems to contradict it? This is the mark of a true master of fate. Remember the biblical story of Abraham, who was promised countless descendants when he was old and childless. Against all odds, against all evidence of his senses, he persisted in his faith. He dared to believe in the reality of that which was not yet manifest. And in due time, his faith was rewarded. So, too, must you persist in your imaginal acts, in your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Do not waver, do not doubt, do not give in to the temptation to judge by appearances. Hold fast to your vision, knowing that what you are conscious of being, you must become. Now, let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this practice. When you focus on yourself and your dreams in the way I'm describing, you are engaging in a profound act of self-love and self-respect. You are declaring to the universe, and more importantly to your own subconscious mind, that you are worthy of your desires. This act of self-affirmation is crucial. Many people sabotage their own success because deep down, they do not believe they deserve it. They may go through the motions of pursuing their dreams, but their inner conviction tells a different story. By consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are overriding old patterns of lack, limitation, and unworthiness with new patterns of abundance, possibility, and deservingness. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal acts as vivid and as real as possible. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. By presenting it with vivid, persistent images of your desired reality, you are training it to accept this new reality as fact. And once your subconscious accepts something as fact, it works tirelessly to bring it into manifestation. It influences your perceptions, your decisions, your actions, all to align with this new accepted reality. This is the power of your subconscious mind, and by learning to work with it rather than against it, you unlock truly limitless potential. But remember, my friends, this is not about forcing or straining. The kingdom of heaven is not taken by violence. Your imaginal acts should be playful, joyful, natural. They should feel like slipping into a comfortable, familiar state rather than an arduous exercise of will. Think of a child at play, fully immersed in their imaginary world. They do not doubt the reality of their imaginings. They do not strain to believe. They simply are what they imagine themselves to be, fully and without reservation. This is the state you must cultivate in your own imaginal work. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in this process. Surely, you might think I can't just sit around imagining all day. Don't I need to do something to make my dreams a reality? To this I say, right action will flow naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take the steps lead to its manifestation. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle. They will feel natural efforts, almost inevitable. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, making the right decisions, all as a natural outflow of your assumed state. This is the true meaning of the phrase, "the signs follow." They do not precede. The outer actions are not the cause of your success, but the effect of your inner transformation. They are the shadow cast by the light of your imagination. Let me give you another example from my own life to illustrate this principle. When I first began giving lectures on these truths, I had a deep desire to reach a wider audience. I imagined myself speaking to large crowds, sharing these teachings with people from all walks of life. Now, I did not go out and frantically advertise or promote myself. I did not strain or struggle to make this happen. Instead, I lived from the end. In my imagination, I saw myself standing before packed auditoriums. I felt the joy of sharing these truths with eager listeners. I experienced the satisfaction of knowing my message was reaching and transforming lives. And then, my friends, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Opportunities began to present themselves. Invitations to speak at larger venues started to come in. People began to spread the word about my lectures. All of this happened naturally, effortlessly, as a result of my inner work. This is the power that lies within you, my dear friends. This is the creative force of your own wonderful human imagination. It is not limited by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It is bound only by your capacity to believe in the reality of your imaginal acts. Now, let us address another common concern that arises when people first encounter these teachings. Many worry about the ethical implications of this practice. They ask if I can imagine anything into being. What's to stop me from using this power for selfish or harmful ends? To this, I say, the very nature of this practice precludes its misuse. For when you truly enter into the state of your wish fulfilled, when you fully embody the consciousness of your desire, you are aligning yourself with the highest good. You see, my friends, at the deepest level of our being, we all desire the same things: love, joy, peace, fulfillment. When you imagine from this place of your highest self, you naturally align with these universal desires. Your imaginings become not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. Moreover, as you practice this art of imagining, you will find your desires naturally refining themselves. What once seemed important may fall away as you connect more deeply with your true self. Your imaginings will become purer, more aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. This is the true meaning of the phrase, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." As you align your consciousness with your highest self, with the creative power of the universe, everything else falls naturally into place. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. People ask, "But Wayne, what about the suffering in the world? What about those who are oppressed, impoverished, or ill?" Are you saying they have imagined this for themselves? This is a profound question, and it deserves a thoughtful answer. First, let me be clear, this teaching is not about blame or judgment. It is about empowerment. It is about recognizing the creative power that lies within each of us and learning to use it consciously. You see, most people are not aware of the power of their imagination. They do not realize that their inner assumptions and beliefs are shaping their outer reality. They are imagining unconsciously, often focusing on what they fear or what they lack, rather than on what they desire. Moreover, we are all influenced by the collective consciousness of our society, our culture, our time. Many of the limitations and sufferings we experience are the result of collectively held beliefs and assumptions. But here's the wonderful truth. Just as we have imagined these conditions into being, we can imagine something different. We can change our individual consciousness, and in doing so contribute to changing the collective consciousness. This is the true meaning of being the change you wish to see in the world. By focusing on yourself, by imagining a better reality for yourself, you are not being selfish. You are contributing to the elevation of all humanity. You are adding your light to the sum of light. Remember, my friends, consciousness is the only reality. The world you see around you is a reflection of consciousness, both individual and collective. By changing your consciousness, by persistently imagining a better reality, you are literally changing the world. This work of imagination is not separate from practical action in the world. Rather, it informs and inspires that action. When you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. You will be guided by an inner wisdom that far surpasses mere intellect. So I urge you, my dear friends, to take up this practice with all seriousness. Make it the central focus of your life. Every night as you fall asleep, and every morning as you wake, enter into the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel it, live it, believe in it with all your heart. Throughout your day, whenever you have a quiet moment, return to this state. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it become the new normal for you. For what you persist in imagining, you must eventually experience. Remember, the time it takes for your imaginal act to become your physical reality is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the state. The more natural it feels to you, the more quickly it will manifest. This is why persistence is key. You are forming new neural pathways, new patterns of thought and feeling. In closing, I want to remind you of this fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the creative force that shapes your reality. By focusing on yourself and your dreams, by living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are stepping into your true power as a creative being. Go forth then and create boldly. Imagine lovingly. Live fully in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own life, but contributing to the transformation of all humanity. You are fulfilling your divine purpose as a co-creator in this magnificent universe. Thank you, and may your imagination guide you to the fulfillment of all your dreams.